In this game, we're playing Pantheon in the top lane, and we start making our plans on how we're going to play out this game as soon as the game starts loading. Pantheon's strength is his early laning bullying capabilities and his cross-map mobility, so what that means is we are going to spear the shit out of Vlad in lane, possibly kill him a few times, and then we're going to focus our efforts on the bottom lane, going after the enemy Thresh and Twitch. Now, as soon as we load into the game, my number one priority is to make sure that my team does not die from an invade. Now, it might be the top laner, but I'm not just going to go run and stand under my turret uselessly while my team gets invaded. I'm going to do whatever I can to mitigate the risk of an invade, so I'm the one that's running out here to put a ward in the river brush. I'm going to stand guard to protect against the invade. Now, you might think, I'm only one Pantheon, what am I going to do if the enemy team comes all together? Well, what I will do is I will throw a spear at them, and hopefully that deters their invade, and I can back out. Ideally, defending against an invade should be a team effort, but this is ranked solo queue, and you can't always rely on your teammates, so you do the best that you can, and this is the limit of what I can do on my own. And now we enter the laning phase with Vlad. Our strategy for the laning phase is basically to chuck spears at Vlad, but we're not going to do this blindly. Vlad has ranged auto attacks and abilities, and we are melee, so we only go in when our spear is up, throw a spear at him, and immediately walk back while the spear is on cooldown. Outside of that, we will be taking some damage from Vlad's Q ourselves, but Vlad's empowered Q does a ton of damage and heals him for a lot. So we absolutely cannot afford to trade with this empowered Q. This is why we monitor his Fury bar and back off every time we see he has an empowered Q available. We get him low on HP with the strategy until we catch him with the Spear, Stun, and Ignite, picking up first blood. Now, I'm not an experienced Pantheon player, so I'm not punishing Vlad as hard as I should be, but this strategy is working for us. Now, I have enough gold to get a pickaxe, so I am going to buy a pickaxe. A lot of people turn this into a Ravenous Hydra. I am going to turn it into a Death's Dance, so that if or when Vlad's healing capabilities become a problem, I will have my own healing capabilities to counter it. Now, I do not recommend this build for every game. This is just what makes sense to me in this moment, and 9 times out of 10 you should be going for lethality builds on Pantheon. Vlad teleports back to lane, we walk back to lane, and we are slowly grinding our way to level 6. One thing you might notice is that I spend a lot of time watching other lanes when my own lane is not active. This here is the extent of my own personal map awareness abilities. It is not that great, but I'm constantly watching whenever I'm not actively engaged with Vlad in lane. The reason that we look at the action in the other lanes is that we need to be watching if we're going to make cross-map plays with Pantheon. This would be the exact same thing if you were playing Twisted Fate, Nocturne, or Shen. Afterwards, we continue laning as normal. We're not able to kill Vlad again, but we do pick up a few more items. At one point, there's a massive fight in the bottom lane where 3 of our allies get killed because Janna was busy eating a donut. That's right, a donut. This basically describes Low Diamond in a nutshell. Finally, we reach level 6, and it's time to take over the map. We clear out the last of a minion wave and immediately look at mid and see an opening behind Azir. We manually activate Grand Skyfall aiming behind him, and this forces him to burn his flash, but it's not enough. We go in with the flash, stun, QE, ignite, and he stuns him again with Tibbers and picks up the kill. Now, I didn't get the kill here, and I'm falling behind in CS in the top lane. Do I care? Absolutely not. Me getting ahead of Vlad in lane is not going to win the game on its own. I need to use the lead that I've got to get every single other lane ahead in order to win this game. Eventually, our AD carry disconnects, and now I'm tilting hard and I know that I'm in trouble. We are now 4 versus 5, and the longer this game drags on, the more likely it is that we're going to lose if Ashe does not reconnect. Vlad's playing too passively in lane, so there's no point wasting any more time with him. I don't have my ultimate, but I can still go back to the mid lane to gank with my stun. We come around the top side of mid to set up a gank on Azir when Kha'Zix and Thresh show up and we're outnumbered. I burn my flash to stun Kha'Zix, which interrupts the burst damage that he was going to deal to Annie, allowing Annie to kill Kha'Zix before she goes down. Afterwards, we kill Thresh with some help from Tibbers before turning on Azir, cycling through our abilities to get our passive up, blocking an auto attack that would have killed us, and instead we get the kill on Azir.
Fucking Ashe, reconnect.
Afterwards, we go back to laning as normal, but I'm not really interested in Vlad. My ult is up, so I'm looking to do something with it. We try setting up an ult at mid, but Annie is not in a good position to work with it. Ashe reconnects and disconnects again as we go for a gank on the bottom lane, and it's no good as well. So we head back to the top lane and Ashe reconnects again. As we drive Vlad out of lane, Ashe picks up a kill on Twitch, which gives us hope. As Vlad exits the lane, we notice some action at mid and see that Annie's in trouble, but Azir and Kha'Zix are low on HP. We go for the Grand Skyfall on mid, and we stun and kill Kha'Zix, cycling through our abilities with Ignite. Annie baits Azir into staying a bit, which allows us to pick up a kill on him as well at the cost of Annie's life. One thing to keep in mind is that I've ganked mid 3 times now, and I'm 90% sure that the enemy team is raging at Vlad for staying in his lane and never leaving. This is going to work in our favor as it helps demoralize the enemy team. We're going to take Azir's turret and then rotate to the dragon pit to help our team take the dragon. I'm 15 minutes in, I have less than 100 CS, and I have not taken my lane opponent's turret. My lane and my farm does not matter so long as my team is getting ahead because of what I'm doing all over the map. As we head back to lane, we see that Vlad has finally roamed mid, and in the skirmish that ensues, he kills Annie and escapes back through the mid lane at low HP. We keep an eye on his movement, and I'm guessing that he's going to recall somewhere around the second mid turret, so I pat towards the spot that I expect him to recall from, and we catch him while he's recalling, stunning him and killing him with a spear. The key to this play was noticing that Vlad was running away in a straight line from Kayn, and we pat through the jungle to make sure that we were not seen as we headed towards the spot that we thought Vlad was recalling from. Afterwards, we take Azir's turret, and we notice that bottom lane is in a bit of trouble. We drop in to help them, and unfortunately Kha'Zix kills Ashe, but at the very least we manage to save Janna. With Kha'Zix dead, it's time to go after the next set of objectives. We've taken the bot lane and mid lane turret, so now it's time to rotate top with Kayn, and we take out the top lane turret. Shortly after, my team is destroying the enemy team in the bottom lane, so Kayn and I go grab the Rift Herald so that we can put it to use later. We recall, buy some items, and now we're going to try to push the mid lane. I tried to catch Azir from behind at mid, and we fail in the initial attempt. A short while later, Annie flashes and stuns Azir with Tibbers, allowing us to secure the kill on him. With Azir dead, we release the Rift Herald down mid and proceed to push. With Tibbers and the Rift Herald in the front line, the mid-base turret takes a lot of damage, which draws the enemy Thresh close. We hop over a wall, stunning the Thresh, and this turns into another kill for our team. As we push for the inhibitor, Twitch and Vlad try to put up a fight, but it's no good as they are outnumbered. We kill the Twitch and drive Vlad back into base. We take their inhibitor and then retreat to regroup for the next battle. The dragon is about to spawn, so we set up some vision around the dragon pit. Now I know that the enemy jungler feels a strong obligation to get this dragon, so he will try to gain some vision of his own. We hang around the corner waiting for him to come around and stun him, allowing our team to pick up a free kill on Kha'Zix. In the skirmish that follows, we get a dragon and then get a kill on Twitch in the mid lane. Seeing Vlad up top, you can tell this team is falling apart as Vlad simply does not care anymore. With the enemy jungler dead and the 5 vs 3 numbers advantage, we go take the Baron to close out the game. With super minions pushing the mid lane, we decide to push the bottom lane with the Baron buff. Annie catches and kills Kha'Zix in the jungle just above the second bot turret. This allows us to take the second bottom turret without much resistance. I've got a Guardian Angel, so as we make the final push, I go for a Grand Skyfall onto the enemy team, stunning the Twitch as soon as I land, which leads to Twitch getting killed. With Twitch and Kha'Zix dead, the enemy team is powerless to stop us as we push 5 vs 3 with the Baron buff, closing out the game. The key to success for this game was the constant roaming from the top lane to the mid lane. This turned our Annie into a powerhouse, allowing her to make picks of her own later on in the game, snowballing our team to victory despite our AD carries connection problems, which set us back early on. In terms of areas for improvement, a key mistake was Vlad not running cloth armor with HP pods to out-sustain my damage in lane. Had I not killed Vlad early on, I would not have been roaming the map as much, which would have allowed for Kha'Zix and Azir to get more kills on Annie at mid. Additionally, the existence of champions like Pantheon, Twisted Fate, Shen, Nocturne, or Karthus in your games comes with a requirement to adjust your playstyle, or you will suffer for it as this team did. Had the enemy Azir monitored my presence in the top lane, he could have avoided many unnecessary deaths at mid. Ultimately, what sealed the fate of the enemy team is the constant bickering that must have taken over, leading to the lack of coordination which prevented them from having a chance at recovering as they fell further and further behind. If you enjoyed this video, do subscribe to the channel, follow on Twitter, and check out the video links on either side. Leave a comment about the kind of content you'd like to see in future videos, and check out the Patreon link if you'd like to support this channel directly.